Sweet lady of Waiholey, she's sitting by the highway, selling her papaya and green and ripe banana.
I grew it from seed and I just couldn't believe that it could do it, but I'm proud of it because it grew.
We always call the ocean our refrigerator. Keeps the food fresh. It's right there, you know, you just go and get it and bring it out and eat it.
This is his first day on the ocean at ANAHOLA Beach.
We've been here 5 years, and we have never received any notice from state officials to leave. We tried for most of those 5 years to get a license to manage these lands under the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, but we were rejected at every attempt. So a year and a half ago, we were given the knowledge of how to file a quitclaim deed, which we proceeded to do and give notice that to all public officials. What's happened is they've ignored it, so they have now served us with a notice to vacate with threats of arrest for trespass and other legal charges, and also to bulldoze our homes.
I got the deed, they only got the muscle. They got the guns and the muscle, and I got the deed. So let's make a standoff, eh?
We do have the deed, and it's never been challenged. And my husband invested, you know, his whole heart and soul. And about $25,000 worth of supplies to build this. So they're saying they can come in and bulldoze it. So anyway, we've got to stop this. We're trying legal means. We're going to the state Supreme Court and to the federal district court.
I got 2 weeks to get out, you know, on the 11th of this month, July 11th. But I'm not leaving. Like I said, I'm not leaving until they prove that, hey, is the deed good or is it not?
I don't believe the county or the Department of Hawaiian Homes and Lands recognizes that or you know, really sees that there is a valid deed at this point.
I presume that they're genuine in their belief that somehow they should own the land. But it's like me, you know, the quitclaim deed thing that's happening. I tell, because I'm Native Hawaiian, or I'm Hawaiian, I say to my friend, I am gonna give you, because I'm Hawaiian, I will quitclaim all my interest in Waikiki and give it to you. And drop the deed, file it at the Bureau of Conveyance and say, here you go. But how much interest do I have in Waikiki?
My interest is this, my vested interest, my rights as a Hawaiian to have that deed.
The Hawaiians deserve to have their land and manage it themselves. It should not, we should not see an eviction notice. This really upset me. We should not see an eviction notice that says the state owns this land, but it is managed by the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. The state does not own the land. It's held in trust. If you're a trustee for somebody, you don't own it. The state says it owns that land. And who knows, maybe it thinks it does, or maybe it has the title by now, but how did it get the title?
Land is the issue, and my people deserve the right to have large acreages of their own land. There was an illegal overthrow of our kingdom, and now it's time for justice to come back, justice and fairness, to come back to the native peoples.
That process of swallowing up other people, rewriting their history, forcing them or trying to force them to forget it, to be ignorant of it, generation after generation, is imperialism. That's what imperialism is. It's taking away what is someone else's and calling it your own and making an empire. Well, the Americans got good precedent. The first Athenian Empire, the second Athenian Empire, the Roman Empire, the Egyptian Empire. That's their history. That's not my history. That's not our history as indigenous people. So deeds are really impositions. They're legal niceties. And thereby does the United States and American government defend the theft of native land from native people.
The overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy was illegal, definitely illegal. It was done under force by the Marines and sailors of the USS Boston at the bequest of a bunch of white businessmen in Honolulu who felt that Liliuokalani, the queen, didn't know how to run the government and that their best interests were being threatened. Liliuokalani, who was the reigning queen, did not want any bloodshed. So she immediately, after some arguments with these people, she sees the sailors are marching up and down with their muskets, the Marines have landed, one policeman had gotten shot. She said, that's it, okay? I will cede to your wishes. And all of a sudden, everything belonged to the United States of America. And it was bloody thievery. The United States government felt so guilty about what they had done that they went along with creating this Hawaiian Homes Commission to give land back to the Hawaiians. Well, this is great. Okay, wow, man, we've stolen millions of acres of land, we've depossessed you, we've taken away your monarchy, and now we're going to give you back a few thousand acres of land. And they set up the Hawaiian Homes Commission. But a lot of people believe the Hawaiian Homes Commission has failed.
I'm going to Honolulu tomorrow and try to get on the junction to stop the eviction.
So we are asking in this writ of mandamus to call on these officials who've given us this notice to vacate and threats of eviction on July 11th to stop this travesty of justice, to meet us in a court of law on the deeds, and basically to uphold the indigenous rights of the Hawaiian people.
They say, well, you got 2 weeks to vacate or we're coming in and charging you with trespassing. Now they didn't even prove if I trespassed, So how can they tell me they're coming in and arresting me? It's really weird, I can laugh, I got humor. They can change the law any way they want to, Even if I'm right, they're going to say I'm wrong. And I've seen that happen a lot of times. A lot of evictions of Hawaiians got evicted. And they all had the facts. But they had the guns and they had the power. But it's nothing like trying it. Don't stop. You must try, or else might as well you die.
The injustice. It's the only word that I can describe. The injustice of people on the land of their forefathers who are not permitted to live on that land, cultivate that land, tend to the land, and lovingly care for it, as Michael and these folks have here at ANAHOLA. Hawaiian homestead lands has not been distributing the land properly. I've been on the list for 21 years and still waiting.
The situation at ANAHOLA, Kauai is a very good example of a symptomatic problem that is manifesting itself on all of the various islands. In ANAHOLA, what has happened is that Hawaiian families who were on waiting lists went to those areas of Hawaiian homelands and literally set up a little beach community. And of course, they were then classified as trespassers and squatters. But in reality, many of these families are Native Hawaiians. They are legal beneficiaries of the trust. Many of the families have been registered, waiting for Hawaiian homeland entitlements for years, but not able to receive an award, and so consequently are living the best that they can on the beaches in that community. The state's position is that they are squatters, native squatters on native lands, and the state, in the ANAHOLA case, is proceeding with their policy, which is to evict and try these people as trespassers.
What happened was, in the past, they had only given out lots that had infrastructure, water, electricity, and roads. But because they were getting pressures to give out these lands, they gave them out without the infrastructure. So now these families can't move on their lots, even though they supposedly have land, right?
I understand it to be today as throwing us crumbs. I mean, it's like, we'll give you the lot, but you can't move on it right now, you know? And they won't even allow us to put temporary structures on that piece of property.
There's a lot of land.
Could the Hawaiians just go on it and live, you know, in huts or, as they, you know, this
That's
sort of
something that
lifestyle kind of?
Well, that's something that the commission has looked at, and I think their position right now is no.
Been pushing ourselves for the land so much, it's unreal. For 7 years, they've been mistrust the trust. The state said there has a trust. The federal government said that they have a trust. You know, they handle our trust. But they misuse of the trust. They admit it, and always saying the misuse of it. But they don't do nothing about it. They keep on misusing it. So I'm over 21. It's time for me to take my trust and using it. You know, I'm a big boy already. I can handle my own trust. I don't need nobody watching over me like mother hen.
They're putting it on all the vehicles right now. And they're saying that within 24 hours the vehicle has to be removed or it'll be considered abandoned.
Why should it be abandoned? It belongs to people. It's registered, it's legal, so how can it be abandoned?
They're coming down. They want to evict us from our traditional lands. The houses we built by ourselves, you know, like we're using no money from the government, nothing, you know, we're just doing it ourselves. And like my wife and I, we personally, we're afraid as to what's happening, We're afraid, not for ourselves, we're afraid of what's going to happen to the future.
The only danger that we have is basically the government. It's the state of Hawaii, it's the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, it's the city and counties. Those are our enemies.
The missionary experiment has failed. The attempt to Americanize and Westernize an indigenous people to improve their life and their well-being has failed, okay? And just that analysis, just that observation tells us that Hawaiians need to be allowed to be Hawaiian. They need to be, there is an encoding somehow in the blood of people who are indigenous people. And you just have to let that live itself out in the world.
We believe that we are descendants of the Earth Mother and the Sky Father, who gave also birth to the islands, to the land, who also gave birth to the taro, and who gave birth to us, which means that we have a reciprocal and a familial relationship with the taro and with the land. And we have a promise in our philosophy that if we take care of the land will take care of us.
That earth belongs to us. So when they say to us, you don't have a deed, of course we don't have a deed. We have a piko. Piko is your navel. We have a placenta that is buried in that land. Now what do they have? What is this stupid piece of paper called a deed next to that? But see, Americans, they don't have that.
We Hawaiians are the heirs of the land. Why is it we want to push our people out from this land here? This is their sweat. The labor of love building their dreams to come true. And now it's coming to be true, and now they wanted to take it away. Why is that? I want to find out why is that they were trying to take all those things away from the people of the land.
We did hear from the Supreme Court that the writ was denied when we were trying to get the state Supreme Court. So our next hope is tomorrow morning. We'll find out from the feds if they will put on a temporary restraining order. He was feeling like he could maybe under the civil rights violations laws, and what he was feeling like, he said, was to at least give us more time to litigate. In other words, put in more papers and more argument.
They are coming down with their dictatorship type of law and saying you don't belong. You are Hawaiians, but you don't belong on Hawaiian land.
To take native land from native people is wrong, whether it's done by Israelis against Palestinians, or the English against the Northern Irish, or the French against the Tahitians, or the British against the Maoris, or the Americans against the Hawaiians. It's wrong. And people will resist until they're killed, until they're no longer on the face of the earth. They will resist and resist and resist.
I stand with them, sit with them in support, lie down with them in support, whatever kind of support that they need. And if need be, although I don't want to be arrested or go to jail for civil disobedience, but if that's what it takes, then I'm willing to do it. And I hope I'm ready to do it, but I certainly am willing to do it.
When and if they try to take down these structures, they will be breaking their own laws. And we'll see what happens then, because I'm willing to get arrested for what I believe in. It's going to be for my kids, not for me.
We've had some information that the state is going to carry out the eviction tomorrow morning. And we wanted to get in contact with someone to, assure them that we will be doing civil disobedience, taking the rest in a very peaceful, orderly manner. And that we would like the officers to respond in the same way.
They wouldn't give me my day in court to answer if I have the deed or do the state have the deed, They don't want to give me that day. They'd better just arrest me and forget about it.
I ask you to continue to support them. By supporting them, you support yourself. You support your children and your grandchildren. Because if you do not support them today, who's going to support your mo'opuna tomorrow? Nobody. Nobody.
The ANAHOLA is not just ANAHOLA. ANAHOLA is Hawaii.
Keep Hawaiian lands in Hawaiian hands. Keep Hawaiian lands in Hawaiian hands.
The Hawaiian people can choose their own destiny. Their land is their land. It was never taken away. And this is the knowledge that's coming to the Hawaiian people right now, is they never lost it. They just need to reassert their rights to these lands.
I'm addressing to you, our governor. Hawaiian Homes, are you setting an example throughout the world? People are coming here. Are you thinking only of commercializing our land? Building up for whose capital are you building? Is it for the Hawaiian people or for your own pocketbooks? That is the question I want to ask you. Are you thinking of we the people, the heirs of the land? Are you really thinking, search your heart now and see in your heart? Is it right? Did our kupunas did that to you? How your mother and father fed you when you were little? Didn't they embrace you? Didn't they sing to you?
Shame on you guys. We're not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you.
How about you, sir? Huh? Can I see your press card?
You're obstructing this operation.
Okay, but what is the charge anyways if I do get a... Obstructing government?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's like 2 years.
That is a warning. You may leave
Okay.
now.
All you Hawaiians out there, stealing the land from the Hawaiians. Yeah? Well, where you would be ashamed.
Now, with today's local news, here's Molly Dawson.
Thanks for joining us. The State Department of Hawaiian Homelands followed through with their threats of eviction, and 14 people were arrested early Monday morning at ANAHOLA Beach Park. All 14 residents were charged with trespassing. The Kauai Police, in cooperation with the National Guard, the State Department of Hawaiian Homelands, and the State Attorney General's office, moved into the area and closed off the roads going into the park. Michael and Sandra Grace were leaders in the residents' fight for Hawaiian rights and have lived at the park for 5 years. The Graces were arrested and booked, along with 9 others at the Graces' house, which has been a community gathering place for some time. Next, officials from the Attorney General's office and the Kauai Police moved on to the house of Ray Manaku, where they arrested him and his wife, Jerry.
It's their policy to tie us up, and I'm telling them I'll get arrested peacefully. But that's their policy, okay?
Following the arrest, the National Guard moved in, and the demolition began at about 10 a.m. Monday. statement to the press, Mayor Yukimura said, the people have long awaited the return of the beach to the community. This is now possible. I am grateful that this action resulted with no one getting hurt. That is the most important thing. On behalf of the county, I thank the Attorney General and the Department of Hawaiian Homeland's Office for the closely coordinated effort that resulted in safe action and the return of open coastal space to the community. Some of the displaced families have been assisted by the County Housing Agency, while others have declined. And that's our report. Thanks for joining us. I'm Molly Dawson.